which y'all don't know, this is the second time we're recording. We were talking for like a good hour and some
Yeah.
change, but the internet went off, and I'm blaming that on Mercury retrograde and
So
my
either this is
modem.
part two, this might be
This
part two, or this is, part
yeah,
one.
this is I feel like this is probably going to be like a whole new recording because I don't think it's saved, and that's okay because we're still here together. We still have time. I think our first recording was probably just us two girlfriends getting close to each other and understanding our energy a lot more deeper, and I'm cool with that. I'm allowing that to happen because, again, I try to come from a different POV. So even though my POV originally was like, damn, that's a bummer, like no one can hear what we were talking about, and now I'm like, okay, maybe that was for a reason. At the same time, when this broke down, I got a reading from my own spiritual family. So it was very much of them kind of intercepting, which I don't know if does that happen to you, where your spiritual family will stop anything electronical to kind of get your attention? Because they do that a lot with me.
All the time. And it's like, it'll happen to me if I'm on live sometimes. Like it happened
Yeah.
yesterday, and it was really annoying because it was a really good message and I was really in it. And then I looked up and I saw that on my phone I had like the low battery. And so whenever that comes up, obviously on TikTok, like it like pauses your live or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like talking for a while and I don't even know how long the message was up. And then I was like, okay, well, clearly I have to say all that again. And then it makes me just have to pay attention a little bit more. So what we were talking about when we got cut off, we were talking about music. I know for sure.
We were
And
talking about your purpose, like how your purpose came in, and like if you thought about purpose and how you were really you have your master's or your bachelor's. Which one is it? A master's or bachelor's?
Both.
Okay, well, damn. Check
Both
and
are.
check. She's got both of them in theater. And how I was like, was music like the first thing, or was that something that kind of bloomed in? And you were saying music was the thing that bloomed into your life, and now I asked a question. I said, it took you 7 months before you came to the realization that you wanted to push and release Manifestation, your song. And you were like, well, it was kind of like that. And then it was and then that's when we left off.
Yeah. So I was at a point where I was going to quit. I was at a point where I was going to quit music. I didn't want to do it anymore. It was too painful for me. Thinking about working with my ex on music and working with him and creating with him, and just the life that I had before. That was kind of the energy that I was at when I wrote Manifestations. But more importantly, like, the lyrics are, I got money in the bank. What you think? What you thought? I was broke. I was broke. This was me quite literally saying what I wanted to see happen, and needing to have something that I could attach to, that I could say for myself. And like I said, it was because I wrote it in February and went through so much for myself in the span from February to September. And then finally, when I shared it, it was kind of like, this has been helping me for these past however many months. Now it's time to share. Because then when I finally did share it, I did have money in the bag. I didn't feel alone. I was healing and growing and trusting in myself. And a lot of what we were talking about, the last one, was trust, and trusting that we are exactly where we're supposed to be. And that, I think, is the purpose, no matter what we're doing, no matter what we associate with, whether we're creatives or not. It's trusting that we're exactly where we're supposed to be, and the things that find their way into our lives come for a reason, whether it's for a lesson or for us to get every bit out of. Because music for me has been the biggest showcase for me of my own growth and my own expansion. Like, I can go back and listen to songs that I wrote in 2018, 2017 and be like, wow, look at how much I've grown. Look at how much I've grown. Look at how much I've evolved. Look at what I'm even wanting to talk about now. Like, now I won't even record something, like I was saying the last time, unless I know it's something that is beneficial for me to hear all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Some things I'll write and I'm just like, okay, this isn't, I need to release this. I need, like, in terms of get it out of me, but it's never going to go anywhere because it's not something that I want to have solidified on wax, so to speak. We don't necessarily print records anymore, but it's not something that I want to have out in the ether for people to listen to and and lash onto, because some things are meant to be released and let go of.
Well, I think also too, when you're in that creative mode, some things are just meant to just be in that creative flow. You know, it
Yeah,
just helps you kind of think about the thing you actually do want to create. You kind of play around with stuff. That's kind of like, you know, magicians. You play around with tunes and frequencies and words, and does it
yeah,
feel right? And I want to talk about something, but do I really want it to be in the ether? Like you said, like I'm just trying to figure it out. Does it make sense to me? And if it doesn't make sense to me, then why would I put that out there for something, then having to sing it all the time? Like I don't want to really put myself out there in that way. So for you to come in that context of hearing your download to
yeah,
writing it out for you was a healing aspect. That's how it started. It was a healing thing for you to change the way that you saw your life. And
absolutely.
because you wanted to change how your reality was, you chose to repeat those as an affirmation, to have yourself feel it, taste it, experience it, even though it wasn't real, like, or not in the reality that you are currently in that
Right.
space. But it was really you changing your mindset,
Yeah.
changing how you view it. Is that when you were really diving into um the law of assumption and law of attraction? Like was that something where you first started to really put the pieces together to use that?
It's really funny that you say that, because yes and no. I think I've always understood the law of assumption and the law of
Okay.
attraction, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't have the words, I didn't have the language, I didn't have anybody around me that was studying it until very recently to have like kind of words to put to these things that I was kind of always practicing. Because, like we were saying, I have a theater background, and what's really beautiful now is coming full circle, and I am teaching a manifestation method which is rooted in method acting. And method acting for me has,
For
right,
real.
it it was always my favorite way of acting, but I realized that I could play out the versions of me that I wasn't
Yeah.
through method acting. I could separate myself from a version of me that I wanted to be, right? Which now, in the way that I coach it and teach it, is that we can become our higher self. We can create the character and become our
Yes.
higher self. But while I was kind of playing around with this,
Yeah.
I was healing and moving through my shadow, and unlearning a lot of things, a lot of limitations that I told myself. So I was becoming the version of myself that I thought that I never was able to be, which was the fun, sexy girl that everybody loved. Because growing up as a plus size girl and whatever, I was always told that I wasn't sexy, I wasn't attractive, and
Yeah.
I internalized that. And that was kind of something that I held on to from a very young age. And finally, when I had a little bit of freedom when I moved to London to study, and I didn't know anybody, and I was able to completely recreate myself.
Oh, how fun,
And
man.
oh
That's
my
gotta
God.
be.
And I think everybody deserves that. But like, it's the freedom. Like, if you don't actually have to physically have it, but it makes it a lot easier. It's
Yes.
detaching from what anybody who may know you is
It's an
going to
ego death.
say.
It's an ego.
Absolutely.
It's an ego death. Like you're coming to terms with something that was kind of forced on you for your own mask, if you will,
Right.
to wear. It was like
Right.
it wasn't sitting me. And what now
Absolutely.
that I have the power to change this mask, I have the power to change the way I see myself, other people see myself. I want to be this person that I know is inside of me, but I don't know how to connect, but I'm gonna connect and I'm
Yes.
gonna and be in it and fuck it YOLO. Like that's really
Yeah.
beautiful. I also just want to say, like, when I heard you talk about that, it really made me think about how you basically just quantum jumped a little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I mean? You were
Absolutely.
using this, you had this vision of your higher self, and you were like, you know what? I could be this, what other people want me to be. However, I know intuitively I'm already experiencing this. That's why I got the words. And
Yeah.
I'm just catching up. So I
Yeah.
might as well start to embody this new
Yes.
character, becoming her, as you know,
Yeah.
that trending thing went on, becoming this new girl. Like, you're already her. You just got to realize you can be her. You know, like
Yeah.
you
It's
gotta take the reins and say, I want that.
it's so funny, because this whole the trending thing of like being the main character and all this
Yeah.
stuff, right? It's trending which is beautiful. I love it. But like the really funny thing is like, this has been my rhetoric because I studied theater and I wrote scripts, and I was always kind of like, I wrote scripts that I wanted to be in. I wrote scripts that I thought would be fun to play because I always wanted to be the main character, because it's, again, as a plus size woman, which is something that I internalized for a very long time, but now I've kind of drifted away from, I'm able to see it and kind of be removed from that perspective and see that that was the perspective that I was operating from. It was my own limitations, right? And I was like, well, I know my theater professors, everybody around me is telling me that I'm never going to get cast as the main character just for the way that I look. So
Jesus.
then I'm gonna write it.
That's y'all motherfuckers are dumb.
Right,
y'all
but like,
motherfuckers is regretting not saying that shit to her. Jesus.
But so many marginalized people who go to acting school, or just who want to be in the industry in any way, whether it's modeling or acting or music or whatever, like especially Black women, especially queer women, like just women in general, like plus size women, you know, we get put into this box. And that was like when I started playing with this thing of, okay, well, you're going to put me into a box, so I want to create my own box first and foremost that I'm going to put myself in. And then when I realized that I don't have to just do that on stage, I can do that all the time. And like that came from like studying performance art and kind of adopting my personality as a performance, and like knowing that people expected a certain thing from me, especially living in the UK, like and dating as well at the time. Like they knew that seeing a plus size white girl from Philly who was American in London, they were expecting something, right? They had an expectation in their head already. And I knew that I could play with that. And I knew that the way that people work with patterns and the way that people inevitably judge, that the way that we're taught to judge, I could make that a performance in and of itself, and like do the shock value and turn things on its head. And I did that through wanting to have fun with people, thinking that they could, you know, compartmentalize me. And then, you know, that again, I mean, that was my ego acting out and being like, well, you think you fucking know me, whatever. But now it's kind of like that knowledge and knowing that I did it for that reason can be used now to empower myself, and not just to spite everybody else and say fuck you. It's gonna inevitably fuck you by being who I want to be anyway, but now I can benefit myself and not just use that energy to, you know, get what I want out of a date, which is what I was using it for in the beginning, you know, which is easy, it's simple, you know.
Well, like I hear you, but I'm like, that's like your dark feminine came out at its finest. You know what I mean? Like you said ego, but I'm like, no, girl, that was your dark feminine. Your dark feminine was like, fuck this. Literally new country, new town, new college, new me, bitch. And I'm gonna step out and be who the fuck I want. And I don't even give a shit what you think, your mama think. Y'all don't know me. I'm going back across the pond. You're gonna see me for a good couple years, and that's it, if that. So you might as well take your dose of me as much as you can. Because now I also feel like when you were doing that, you probably had, especially now that you have the knowledge to make scripts and stuff like that, you probably really wrote down what would she be like literally writing a book, like that manuscript of like, this is this character, and I want to embody her to its T, which I feel like also ties into your I don't want to say persona, but like your other version of yourself as you are an artist, right? Like you are utilizing all this aspects, and not only did it help amplify who you are from the inside out, but now you get to exclude that to other people, and who young girls, and I'm sure the women are probably looking at you and being like, oh my God, thank you for, you know, being who you want to be and showing me it's okay. So it's such a deeper thing that I'm like, it was something for you to heal. But that internally you had now kind of like flipped it from, it's like the inside out, that you're pushing that energy out to the world and this collective that's healing them in a different way.
Absolutely, because it is a matter of authenticity. It's finding who the real you is. And I love that you said persona, because that's exactly what it is. And for my dissertation, for my master's degree, a big part of what I wrote about was person versus persona.
Ah,
And I think
God.
for artists, it's really important to have a separation. And this is how, because method acting is so strong, because we want to be the person that we're portraying. Like, that's
Yeah.
why we create the character. That's why we create the artist name. That's why we create the version that we show to ourselves. Even as creators on TikTok, you know, there is a version of you that you turn on when you're going to be on camera,
Yeah.
because the version of who you are, it's not that it's different, it's that you are sacred, you are
Yeah.
private, you are for you, you are yours. And that you sometimes doesn't even come around the people that actually know you in real life, you
Fact.
know, even around them there is a version, right? And
Yeah.
you know,
Mini
even in the
hats.
neurodivergent, right, in the
Yeah.
neurodivergent community, we talk about masking and all these things, and there's all of these different layers that we can kind of culminate and hone in to say, okay, well, then there is the me, and then there is the me that I show. And we
Yeah.
all have a separation of that. And we have multiple versions of that. And rather than creating those versions to appease other people, it's creating those versions to explore ourselves,
Yeah.
and to see our shadow, to see our dark feminine, to see our higher self, to play these different archetypes and these different roles, and take different pieces of each one to create the most authentic version of you, that is the version that you want to present to people at all times. And when people remember you and think of you, that's how they think of you. And that is developing your personality. That's not,
Yeah.
we don't teach people how to do that. And that's why there's
No.
so many people, like we were talking about last time, so many people walking around like NPCs with no fucking
Yep.
personality.
Yeah. So it's
Because
like
they don't even know.
like fucking walking around like Eeyore, like, woe is me, this is my life. And it's like,
Literally.
you know, if you were to just take a moment to just look at where your life is and see what works and what doesn't, and then change it. I feel like, especially for those people who are on TikTok, a lot of people use that for a form of changing their persona, because on the day-to-day shit, there's a lot of things that they can't really say, there's a lot of things they can't really show, or they have to show up in that NPC mindset. And so when they get in front of that camera, it is a place for them to really show their
Yes.
authentic self. I think that's why a lot of people from Instagram can't really migrate to TikTok, because a lot of people, especially back in the day, how Instagram was the shit, it was a lot of people curating this fantasy that this, if my life looks so polished and such, like in these filters, and I show up this way, this is what people assume my life is like. Whereas TikTok, you can't really fake the funk. People are gonna really notice when you're not being real in that
Yeah.
statue. And I think that's why I really fuck with TikTok, because even
Yeah.
though you get the crazies, you still find people that are really fucking genuine, like you. Like, I didn't think I'd meet someone like you on there, but hell, my
Hey.
energy attracted you in some way, because we're doing the same thing, whether that be tarot, just being ourselves, or helping out, or just being clairaudient, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We attracted each other for us to see that authenticity, to be like,
Absolutely.
she's real.
Yeah.
And I want to fuck with that. So it's very funny that we talk about all this stuff, because it is kind of like cool how it is a new persona. And if you take that persona, or allow yourself to try it out, I mean, shit, if you're not happy, what's the problem with just trying it?
Well, the beauty of social media, and this is why, I mean, this is a different kind of conversation, but it is the same thing. This is why I don't understand why people are themselves on social media, meaning like they just highlight the shit about what is. Like, it is an opportunity for you to completely recreate and rebrand yourself, especially on TikTok. Like you were saying, like the way that I see it as the evolution is from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok, right? Because I mean, from our generation, right? We started off on Facebook, where it was this thing of, it was a timeline, and you update your timeline and you tell people what you're doing. You tell people the major milestones. And
Well, can
it's
we go
a,
back?
it's a,
Can we say MySpace too? Because MySpace was
absolutely.
like MySpace, then it was Facebook, and then it was Instagram. And it was
And
kind of
that's,
like MySpace was like the cool place to put your music, and you had your favorite people. You know, side note, if y'all don't know
and
what
that was,
Facebook, like y'all need to go Google that if y'all
yeah,
y'all
if you
y'all.
weren't around for MySpace, yeah, like it's like, well, and that's the thing, that, but in the MySpace era, that was the kind of persona era as well,
Yes,
because
it
you could kind
was
of be whoever you wanted to be, and it was a lot more like
real.
creativity. Yeah, real. And it was like
You
it
can
was
code. Like I learned to code back then. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like no one taught me this when I was
exactly.
in high school. I think it was like a senior year when it really came out. And I was like, this is pretty cool. I'm learning how to code, put music on here. I could put my favorite
Yeah.
people. Like it was
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Facebook thing happened, and that became more of like real life, and this is
Yeah.
updating people, and this is to be connected with people who you really know,
Yeah.
and keep them updated and that sort of thing. And then Instagram came around, and then that brought more of this, like, you could be a persona, you could be
Yeah.
more, it could
You
be
can
more
be anything you want to
curated,
be.
it could be more curated, right?
Yeah.
And now there's TikTok, which brings the culmination of all of those things, of being
Yes.
curated but also being very authentic,
Yeah. Being fucking
and
real.
and yeah, being real, but also adding the art.
And the
And
value. Like, what are you teaching me? Are you
right,
helping me?
right, are you
Is it
helping me?
selfish?
Is this
Are you trying?
beneficial?
Yeah, like am I learning anything from this? Or are you just wanting the looks? Like what is this that I'm helping you with? It's
Right.
a duality. Like it kind of is like it definitely culminated all of them in my opinion in a visual aspect. You
Yeah,
have to be real, you need to provide me some value, you need to be cool and authentic. I need to fuck with you. I need to feel like I could be friends with you
you have to have
in some
something to say,
capacity. Yeah, you
is
gotta have something
really
to say.
it.
It's gotta be important for me to stop, to hear you talk this whole 3 minutes, and then to
Yeah,
also maybe sit there and say, check mark, I'll follow you.
yeah,
It's a big can I trust you too? Because a lot of people lie, a lot of people put on this thing, I think it's very cool that if you have this, or if you're willing to, you can really allow yourself to be a brand out there and really
yeah,
like showcase your realness at its finest, which I think is pretty fucking cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I love it. And I think TikTok, and I've said this before to some of my other friends who study law of attraction and things like that, like, I think the TikTok algorithm is the closest thing on the internet to the law of attraction,
Hell
in
yeah.
that even sometimes things that you don't say out loud and you just think about do
Yeah.
show up on your feed. And then the more that you are seeing it, the more that you see other things like that, and it's just building that momentum. Which is why I always say, if people aren't satisfied with their For You page, it's because either they're not spending enough time curating it, or that is the things that you're thinking about. And that's, this is my, like, always my conversations that I have with my real life friends that aren't in the sort of like occult or spiritual community. And they're always like, how do you do what you do on TikTok? How do people listen to you? Like, my TikTok's nothing like that. Like, I've never seen the tarot reader on TikTok. And I'm just like, really? I'm like,
Right? You see my face. You said that like, huh?
it's almost an oversaturated market at this point. I'm like,
Right?
you haven't
They're
seen
everywhere.
that
They're
one?
popping up like roaches. You haven't seen
Yeah,
that one? Okay.
yeah. And I'm just like, wow, okay, like, interesting. And like, friends who've never seen a single therapist talk about anything on their For You page. And I'm like, what are y'all watching? And I'm like, but it's just interesting because it's showing you the more, like, the people.
It's like their personal TV. I just heard that. Like it's their personal TV, like channel stations. Like they
It
just keep,
shows
you know,
you
you scroll
exactly
on the
what people
TV, you're
want to
just like,
consume.
yeah, like you know how you used to scroll like that, and now
Yeah,
it's just at your phone, and you can just, do I want to tune in or do I not want to tune in, or maybe I need to
yeah,
hear this. It's funny how you say that because I really do feel that. I mean, obviously our phones are listening, and has our phones are always listening.
yeah.
But with TikTok specifically, I remember yesterday. Shout out to the I'm working with these group of two guys that they want me to help curate their branding for their band. And I was like,
Oh,
you want me to curate your, they're like, yeah, like we like the shit that you do with Occult, and we want you to kind of help us with our brand, get awareness, get our music out there. I'm just like, what? Come on, Candyland, let's do this shit. Let's
yes.
go. So why is it that like the first TikTok, right? I haven't really thought about like because I'm waiting on them to respond to me on some things. But I was like, okay, I'm bringing in that energy. I'm letting the vortex open up. So I'm getting ready to help them curate their business, right? And
Yeah.
their brands. So why is it that when I opened up TikTok yesterday, literally I got a video. The first video was a girl talking about how she was able to get her EP and her other songs curated to over 300 different downloads to where now she's getting money. And I was like, well, damn, if there's not a perfect way for me to understand this now so that when I'm helping them actually get their stuff out there, I know what we need to do in order for that to happen. And then not only that, but I'm talking to you the next day. So it's like another artist. I'm talking to two different artists to talk about, I don't know, just the vibe that I received from that just by me opening up TikTok. It's like you can really learn a lot and you can really see knowledge and the availability of what is out there, because nowadays I kind of just go to TikTok for like, it's like my Google. It's not I'm like, how do you do this? And I'm like,
I
2
know
seconds
there's gonna
later,
be an expert talking about it somewhere, you know,
right? And it's free and it's hella fast. I ain't gotta look through, no scroll through, no websites. It's literally right here, and I can just see if they're bullshitting me, like with my clear audience, like, are you lying or are you being
well, and that's the thing, I think. And you know, you didn't ask, but I'm going to give it anyway, a little secret tidbit for artists, like in terms of putting themselves out there on social media, especially on TikTok. Like, just like we were talking about anything else, authenticity is the biggest thing. Authenticity is the biggest thing. If you believe in the work that you are making and you want to share it and you are excited about sharing it, and you know that this is going to get on people's For You page and people are going to like it and people are going to fuck with it because you fuck with it.
Yes.
That is the sauce. That is the secret sauce. That is what makes things work, because if you don't fuck with your shit, nobody else is gonna fuck with it.
I mean, to the T, because even me, when I started Cold Media, I'm like, I have to start out fresh. Like, I have to start off like a whole new base, and I have to like show up and do things authenticity. And I'm looking at how other people are doing content. I'm like, oh, that's so wrong. Like, I would just be real. Like, show up. Just show up. Like, they just want to see, especially if you're curating a new brand. So creators out there, whatever you're creating, baby, and if you're about to explode or, you know, bring it out to this matrix, just be yourself. They just want that authenticity more than ever now, because especially since a lot of people are taking more of the red pill, they're not taking more of the blue pill. They're noticing a lot of things are NPCs, and they're not connected to their jobs anymore. They're connecting more to other things, and they're craving. It's like a taste in their mouth. They don't even know what it is, but they're like, I want that authenticity rather than that bullshit rhetoric that I've been getting my entire life. So what are you giving me? It's a cool way to think about it.
I want people to make me feel something, not just make me want to buy something.
Yeah. Like, don't sell me.
Yeah.
I don't need any more selling. I'm more connection.
Because the thing of it is like, if you have something really to say and people really fuck with you, they will inevitably buy your shit. They will inevitably stream your shit, because even if they don't like it, even if they don't, you know, they will support you because they believe in you being yourself, because it allows them to be themselves just by witnessing you.
Yes.
Being authentic.
Yeah. And I think when I first wanted to make Occult Media, like, this came down as a download back in May. And the first thing I said, I just want to build a community of weirdos like me. Like, that's it. Like, I don't really want to do anything else
as well.
Yeah, because it's like it's, you know, the whole boxing we were talking about earlier, being put in a box and being something that we're really not, but we have this feeling and pull to be fucking different. And if we were to do it, we would go against the grain, and then we have to keep pushing ourselves on top of it because people are telling us that you can't do it. So then it's a more proving of, oh no, I can do it, and really just showing your art, however the art really comes out. So I think, you know, when you start to really come from that mindset of like just being your fucking self, especially now when life is too short. And if you realize that you are, you know, you're only meant to be experiencing things as spiritual beings that we are, we're not meant to be in this fearful based kind of life. We're supposed to be experiencing love and joy and pleasure and just creativity at its finest.
I think, you know, people are there's a group of people, right, that are so caught up, like you were saying, we're talking about the blue pill and the red pill, right? They're so caught up with being normal. and
Yeah.
keeping up with
It's
things.
like, what's normal
And
though, you know? Like,
well, yeah, right. And this is what I'm saying, being normal, being standard, and not wanting to be weird, not wanting to be perceived as weird, which is why I really enjoy the word weirdos, because it's like when you've been called weird, or when you accept the fact that other people may consider whatever it is that you do as weird, or what you think as weird, or what you say as weird, and you don't give a fuck, that's when it's kind of like, it is incredibly liberating. And it's like, well, actually, if everybody just believed that, then there would be no weird. We would all just be. And that is really spiritual, people. We get it. And that's what we're trying to share with everybody else. But it's very frustrating whenever it's there's a pushback to even be the most authentic version of you. Because like we were saying before, like I have clients that, God bless them, they don't even know what they like. They don't even have hobbies. They don't even know what they enjoy doing other than, you know, like being a mother or doing their
yeah,
job or whatever. And it's like, no, babe, who are you? What do
yeah,
you like?
yeah.
And
It's hard.
it's not just how are you, you know, sustaining yourself or fitting in or whatever. It's like, what are you doing to really fill you? To really fill you. Because it
Hmm.
all goes hand in hand.
Surrey Photography is a sacred space for healing through boudoir. Activating all senses, you are invited to feel and to heal. Work with healer and photographer Donnie as she guides you through a divine feminine embodiment experience within her community. Combining both spirituality with sexuality, this is a unique offering which includes Reiki, a boudoir photography, and a boudoir album. Join other countless liberated women by booking your boudoir ceremony today. Head over to surreyphotography.com to find the right boudoir collection for you. Now taking clients for 2023. I was told to shuffle the cards, so I
I was
shuffled the
gonna say,
cards.
what are we saying?
So I shuffled the cards, and then I've been doing this thing lately where I just kind of like let my fingers guide me to cut the deck, and then I pull the first card out of that. Like lately, I've been doing that. It's been kind of fire. So the first card was the Queen of Pentacles. Then we have the Seven of Pentacles,
Yeah.
the Five of Swords in reverse, the Eight of Cups in reverse, the Two of Swords in reverse, but the Eight of Pentacles upright. And all I heard was when you were talking about all that NPC people don't know and like trying to find their way. Especially with the Five of Wands, Five of Swords, Eight of Cups, and the Two of Swords in reverse, it's a lot of like moving forward. Like just those three cards are just like emotionally and mentally saying, okay, I can make a decision and I can move forward. I can actually put myself first and do things that's actually going to build a more hardy structure, especially since we have the Seven of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles. There's something here for someone where I don't know, maybe it's all both of us too. Maybe it's just me and you, Nikki. Like we're just over here, like we're you know, it's the energy of like we're really closing a lot of mental emotional chapters where we may have felt like, can this be real, but still finding that faith, because faith and trust was a lot that we were talking about when we were first recording, and just saying, you know what, fuck it, YOLO. Like this past weekend, last Friday, I did my first past life regression, and it was pretty, I mean, I did a few on meditation by myself, but not with like an actual therapist to do it with me. And what I saw as a past life was that I didn't get to have fun. I didn't do things that I wanted. I was doing things that other people told me. I wasn't taking risk. And that is something that I regretted when I passed away, that I wish I did more of. So when I think about my life now, I've literally the last couple months, especially since me receiving this download to create Occult Media, has been a lot. It's okay to let go of subconscious mood, because we were talking about earlier about tarot and how I was able to develop that. And it's hard to kind of differentiate, like, people know me for this, right? Like
Yeah.
I had to go through another ego death. I had to realize like, well, people know me for this, and what if I do this and no one comes? And it was a lot of fear mentally and emotionally. Like I don't want to let go of what I've already created, but at the same time, there's this pull that is trying to tell me like, you want this lifestyle, you want this freedom, you want to be creative. Your inner child is screaming for this creativity to be developed. Why are you not taking that chance? And
Yeah.
it wasn't until like last month that I said, okay, fuck it, yellow. That is going to be my motto moving forward. If I'm getting fearful of anything, fuck it, yellow. Like
Yeah.
I decided I want to take a risk and not have my mind go backwards, not have my emotions bring anything up, but really focusing,
Yeah.
right? And putting in
Yeah.
the energy and then retweaking it and then allowing myself to go through it to really cultivate this coin
Yes. And what I
foundation,
want to
you know?
like, I want to even emphasize as well that it's like what you're talking about with like moving from subconscious moon to occult media. Like, I want to remind you, we got the 8 of Pentacles. It's not the 4 of Pentacles. You know what I mean? You're not
Yeah,
having to let go of something. You're
that is
building
true.
on what you've already built.
Thank
Like
you.
you don't have to say bye to it, you know? Like because inevitably it is still
Yeah.
you and it is
It
still
is
your
still me.
creation. And you
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to be in the position that you're in now if it weren't for
Oh,
what you've
yeah.
already created, you know?
Yeah. I think for me, the ego was just like the death
Yeah.
I had to go through was because it's an all day thing, right? If you're building something, you're trying to curate like traction and all that. It's like an all day everything, especially when you work
Mhm.
for yourself. It's a mind fuck that you're constantly being like, what can I do? How can I help? How can and especially since I'm a Virgo rising, I always want to come
Yeah.
from the statue of how can I help?
Yeah.
Virgos are all about service. And I'm just like, how can I assist in any capacity to anyone? But I also felt like there was no pool because my human design is a generator. So I generate through my sacral. So if it doesn't feel good,
Yeah.
then I can't fuck with it. And it was like that. It was weird. I was like, oh, I don't want to do anything. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do anything. I want to just focus on Occult. I just want to
Well,
build on Occult. Like it just feels good to build that.
yeah, well, because as much as the Virgo is wanting to help, it is I want to help, but in my own way. I want to help the way that
Yeah.
I know.
I
I
right.
want to help in the way that I'm good at
Help in
it
the way that
because
it fits me too,
that it
right?
fits,
Like it's
right? That it fits. Yeah, and like you were saying, especially with what it feels good, it's like okay, yeah, I want to help, but I know exactly how I want to help. And especially Virgo, like they're very headstrong and they know what they want and they go for it. So it's like it makes perfect sense. But it's even as simple as and you don't even have to include this in the recording, but like you could even change subconscious moon to occult media on TikTok. You know what I mean? You could just change the username and be like, this
I
is me
thought
now.
about that.
You know,
You know what
like you're like
someone said this to me. Okay, so I'll take this for instance. I've been saying like I'm open to all conversations. Like I
yeah,
want the universes to bring me people align with me, yada yada yada. So I had an interview with someone to do a podcast with a cult, and she's going to be on here. Shout out to you, Sheena. So Sheena's a life coach, and she was telling me about how her clients are what she's noticing is that they're in the void, but she's a
mm,
life coach, but a life coach that helps with goal setting. And I was like, interesting. My sacral immediately lit up. I was like, what
yeah,
would you do? What would you think if we did a workshop together?
yeah,
And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, what if I was talking about the void and then you can help them with the goal setting? And then another like portion of this is we can basically help the collective align to what they really want by
yeah.
understanding their void aspects. And she was like, that
Mm,
would be a fire workshop. So the workshop we created is called, let me pull it out. Hold on, what is it called? It is called Inspired Innovation. And then it's going to help with like alignment. We
yeah.
literally, after talking about the podcast episode, literally went into a good hour of curating the workshop, the idea, what I would say. Like it
Oh
literally was
wow,
just kind of like in alignment, right? And here I
wow.
am, like stepping away from coaching, but at the same time, like this still comes in. So it's like I still get to
Yeah,
do what I love. And
yeah,
I get what you're saying. Like I could change it. I also kind of love the fact that I'm working on another group called Universal Sync, where they're building an app for astrologers
yeah,
and
yeah,
trying to have astrologers come together in a way that curates their identity instead of it being like all over the place. Like it's a whole bunch of people coming together. So they're booking me as Occult Media as their podcast creator.
yeah,
So I was like, okay, I love that. I dig that. I'm noticing lately with my own clients that I'm helping them curate their brand or I'm helping them curate their business. And I kind of have been marinating on the idea of like switching subconscious mood to be more of like a business curating, branding feminine connection alignment thing because I'm doing
Yeah.
it with that band, which, I wasn't
Yeah.
really thinking about it. I'm doing it with my current clients new. There's like 5 clients I work with, and out of those 5, 3 are doing business stuff with me. So I'm helping them understand their feminine blocks to then also curate their real like childhood dream to its T, and
Wow.
helping them with like the messaging and the aesthetic and all this other stuff. And I'm like, it makes me giggle on the inside because it's like that's just fire. That allows my
Yeah.
creativity flow in a different way that I never thought I could use that feminine. But ultimately, that's the feminine all the time. I'm like, that's pretty fire that I can think about it like that. But I appreciate you saying that to me because I could honestly have just like switched it over and been like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, you rocking with me or not? But I
Yeah.
kind of wanted to switch it because I can't talk about the weird stuff with people with subconscious mood. You know what I mean? Like, I want to talk about
Mhm.
weird. My goodness, what is this timing? Stop it. I want to talk about the weird things that I don't get to talk about. It was kind of like my other like separation space. Like
Yeah.
I want to find the people that are like me that aren't
Yeah.
really finding me for feminine shit. I want
Right.
people that really gets my Scorpio weird alien NPC shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, can we talk
No,
about
I
the shit
really
we
hear
don't
that.
get to talk about? So it's like I'm grateful that I'm able to think about it in that context, but still be me, but still have that
Yeah.
ideal or attract people to still do coaching, if that means. So it's like a nice little beautiful blend of being my
Yeah.
authentic self. Cause that was a big thing for me. I was like, I want to be authentic.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't be authentic if I can't talk about weird shit. How can I now talk about weird shit and still be me?
Yeah.
Quote
And
medium.
I think that's beautiful. And like I think it's also, and I don't mean to pick at you, but like
That's okay.
I think it's a little bit of a limitation that, I mean, you've created a workaround for it, but you've created a little bit of a limitation for yourself
I
in that you
did.
can't be authentic and still be a
Subconsciously
coach.
I did.
And like I think a lot of us, especially when we have a business that is advisory of some kind, right? Or coaching or whatever, it's there can be a desire to have that separation of like, well, this is the space where I can kind of let loose and whatever and do blah 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 blah, and then this is the space that is more professional and all of that stuff. And like I understand like the logic and the wanting to separate that, but like you don't have to.
I know. I
You
kind of
don't
want to
have
bridge
to.
them together if that's weird. Like I
Yeah,
kind of want to add like the
no.
coaching into a cult and like have that kind of like merge over in some way.
And that's the
I'm
beauty
sure I
is,
will.
well, because that's why people like you for like people like Subconscious Moon because it's you, not because you're just offering coaching or because you're doing readings or whatever. And like that is it, like in a
Whatever.
nutshell. Like, you know what I mean? That's because you're being
Yeah.
you. And like we were saying before, that's the secret sauce, you know?
Secret
And I'm
sauce.
only saying that because this is something that I even like I moved through, and it was something that I thought about, like, okay, well, should I make a separate TikTok for my music and then just keep my tarot on one and whatever? Because
Oh, I could see
I
that for you too. Like I don't want to mix it, but I want to mix it. Yeah.
but it is inevitably coming from the same place. And similar with the coaching, it's like, well, you wouldn't be the coach that you are without your knowledge, understanding, and acceptance of the weird shit, right? Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't have the skill set and the experience that you do if it weren't for what you've moved through and what you know. And that's kind of where I was coming from for myself with the music thing of like, okay, well, I know that my music is channeled messages. I know that the tarot is channeled messages. Why
Yeah.
would I have to separate it? Why, like, because it was when I knew that when I was going live, people kind of just wanted to do the readings, or I told myself, this is what people want from me. I told myself, this is what people want from me. But then, the music, people love it as well, and then they come on my lives and I play the music and I do the readings, and
Yeah.
and I talk about the weird shit, and I talk about, and that similarly happened for me when I started talking about being neurodivergent and that being a spiritual gift. And I was nervous about talking about that and posting that and sharing that and sharing my beliefs on those topics, because I know it's people don't like that shit. It's why people
Yeah.
don't talk about politics and stuff or whatever on social media, because it's very divisive, and people have, I still don't even really talk about politics because I don't agree with any of it,
I don't know about to say,
so
I don't agree with any of it. Why does it have to
yeah,
even be the thing? Like,
right.
I understand why people are independent now. You hardly even hear independent people that don't want to choose no sides. I'm like, I understand now. You over
Right.
here just watching people act stupid from both sides.
Exactly.
Like, I get that.
But
That's
yeah,
super funny.
it's just, I don't know. I think it's just interesting how sometimes we see what works and then we think, okay, well, that's inevitably what people are coming to me for.
Yeah.
When there are still things like the algorithm at play, and like we say, depending on what we're talking about, always TikTok is listening to us, always they are screening our videos before they put them out. And things like a tarot reading or a video of rapping or whatever is a lot safer than talking about some things like neurodivergency being a superpower, or
Yeah.
some occult things that are very powerful. It's like,
Yeah.
of course those aren't going to get pushed out. Of course they're not,
Yeah.
because that's just a little bit too much information for the
Yeah.
everyday
It's the weird shit.
person sometimes,
People don't want to hear that stuff. Like, what is this? This is going to keep people on the platform, but in reality, it actually will. It will. It actually keeps them on there way more because they want to learn more. They want like,
Yeah.
what the hell is this? I don't know what this is. I want to learn more about what the fuck that's what they're talking about here.
Yeah.
At least for me, especially when I don't know certain things, or like I'm seeing someone be like, try this method for blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, what method are you talking about? I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I may learn
Even if
something
it's
new
not something that
here.
I care about, I'll be like, okay, well, you
Yeah,
care about it, so let me see.
exactly. Somehow it landed in my face because it's not like it's landing anywhere else. It's literally landing in my face
Exactly.
in my For You page. So
It's right in my hands. So like,
literally. So what is it that the universe is trying to tell me right now? Or maybe it's
yeah.
just for shits and giggles. Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay, well, yes, Nikki, Peachkka, thank you, baby, for being here.
Of course.
This is beautiful. I got to hang out with you for at least a couple hours.
This was really fun.
I took a lot of your time today, so I appreciate you
I
hanging
loved
out with
it.
me and allowing the technology to get through for us to come together still and talk about, we basically was just talking about like TikTok and social media, music, and like frequency. I love it.
That's
So
good.
thank you so much. Please let people know where they can follow you. I'll make sure to put all this in the description box for you guys to click on the link. But if there's anything, which I know you have a tour coming out, so anything that you want to
Yeah.
say, please say it right now. I'm gonna leave it to the floor.
Yeah. So first and foremost, in terms of finding me, be very, very careful of all these fake accounts. I'm sure
Yes, please.
everybody who you're
I
gonna
will
have
make
on
sure
the
to have the right
podcast
links down below.
is going to like have to mention this, but like, TikTok, I am just Peachkka Speaks, at Peachkka Speaks. On Instagram, I am at Peachkka. It's Peach KKA. And yeah, find me. Make sure it's not a fake account. I will never DM you offering you a reading. Just to be very clear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a couple new songs that are out now. I have a new single, I Know Who I Am, which is a channeled message from Athena, which is amazing. I have a new
Fire song, by the way. Fire
Thank you.
song. You're
Thank
welcome, baby. It
you.
was very
I have a
fire. Yes.
new remix with Moonlight Scorpio. I remixed her song Glow, which is really fun.
I love her.
She's amazing.
I first of all, she won me about the name Scorpio because I'm Scorpio sun. So I immediately, yes. She
Yes.
also has a few songs I listen to on repeat. That's on part of my manifestation playlist, and I just adore her. I
Yeah.
also, I know you're trying to give your spiel, but
That's
I
all
also
right.
before I forget, I am bringing up a section coming out soon about like spiritual artists that I admire. And I really wanted to, I told you, there's a lot of things that I'm doing. I just haven't really posted them yet, but I really want to amplify those spiritual people that are coming through with different types of frequencies of music to help elevate in some capacity. And I also I don't know, it just makes me feel happy that you're just spreading that with other people that I love too. So I'm just like, oh, the fact that you are working with her,
Yeah, no,
beautiful
that's
energy.
exactly it. Like I feel like, our as spiritual artists, as artists in general, but as spiritual artists, like when we come together, like there's just something that happens with co-creation that is just so beautiful, which is why, like you were talking about with the Divinely Empowered tour, which we are doing starting November.
So proud of
Moonlight
you.
Scorpio is actually opening for us in Nashville. Also, Maya is opening for us in Boston. And Sharia Wise is opening for us in New York, which I am so excited
What?
for. Yeah. Yes.
Girl, I am bowing
Yes.
down to you. Oh my gosh, like I am not
That's what I'm saying.
worthy. I am
It's
not
all the
worthy.
babes. It's all the babes. Me and my girl Elle Baez, who she
That's
is a body
fire.
positive artist. She is amazing. She's an incredibly talented singer. She and I are kind of collaborating to put on this tour, and we just wanted to have as many empowering women and divine
Oh
feminines
my
to come
gosh.
together and be on the stage together as possible. And I'm so excited. I can't wait
Oh
to meet
my
all of these
gosh.
amazing babes in person and just like share energy with them, do our songs together live. I'm going to have a song coming out with Sharina Wise as well very soon, which is just going to
What?
be unbelievable.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yes. Ah,
Peachkka, baby. I am so
yeah.
proud of you. This is so beautiful. Yo,
Thank you.
I'm just so proud of you, man. You should be really
Thank
proud of
you.
yourself. How
I
far you
really am.
didn't give up. Like this is just the beginning.
Truly.
This is the beginning. I feel like you just opened up like a new book, but like the book is just it's gonna be like a few chapters and then that's gonna
Yeah.
close and there's gonna be so much more opening up for you. This is so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you
And
for
this
allowing me
is,
to be in this energy exchange with you
oh
because
my
that's just
God.
like, you know,
And this is why I was telling you
refreshing.
that, like, you're not getting rid of something and starting something new, because even if you don't necessarily associate with one name anymore and you have to like kind of detach from that a little bit, that
Yeah,
doesn't mean that the following that you created and also just the skills and experience and just moving through what you had to move through to get to this point is so valuable.
thank
Like
you.
I've started
Yeah.
so many businesses and had so many brands and things associated with me that I don't even really talk about anymore because it's not necessary, but it is
Yeah.
always to
It
me,
helped you get to where you are. Like it
Yes.
helped you like it's I like to look at not failures, but they're redirections. They just taught you different ways of moving forward. And the
Absolutely.
knowledge that you received from it is what helped you get to where you are right now because you're seeing it different
Yes.
because of the experiences. And that's beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Can I shuffle one card? can you shuffle, do you have your deck
Please.
too?
I'm
Do
gonna
you
go
have your
get it.
deck?
Yes.
Go get
Please
your
do.
deck. I want to shuffle one card.
Ah, yes. I love this.
Let's close out with a good note.
I love.
I am using the Modern Witch Tarot deck. This is one of my first decks. It is the first deck that I got. It kind of resonated with me, the feminine energies in here.
I'm gonna
What deck are
use
you using?
my first deck as well. My original Rider White and Pamela Coleman Smith. We've got Death on the bottom, Scorpio energy. I'm a Scorpio rising as well, so
Look at the Scorp's
I love the
energy,
Scorpio.
man. I love it.
Yes,
Okay.
Pisces Sun and Scorpio rising. So just whole lot of water.
A lot of water. You're fluid. I like that.
Speaking of which, oh my God, just have a look. Have a look at my view.
Look at that Miami view.
Yeah.
Look at that water, yo. For real. That
Yeah.
looks like straight up like a, I don't even know how to
Gorge.
explain that, but that's beautiful. Wow, that's a beautiful
Gorge.
view. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have one
Yes.
card for this beautiful recording? Can I have one final card for this collective? Whoever's hearing this, thank you. Reverse. Ooh, okay. I got the Strength card at the bottom of the deck. Temperance underneath that. Four of Wands underneath that. Oof, Six of Cups underneath that. And the Magician underneath that. That's such beautiful energy. You are your own manifestator. You are your own creator. Love on yourself. Stability is here. Give yourself that time. Balance out. Meditate. Drink water. Do shit for you. And believe that you're on the right path because it's meant for you to experience it. It's that inner strength. It's not physical strength. It's that inner strength, y'all.
Yeah.
The card that flew out of the Seven of Wands in reverse. You don't need to fight and do all these things. It's coming to you. You'll be all right. Relax. Don't fight yourself. I just heard that too. Don't fight yourself. Some of us can be the worst people for ourselves, and don't be your own self-sabotage. Look at that with the Nine of Swords. What?
In reverse. In reverse. That was the one card that came out, and then bottom of the deck we had the Hermit and the Moon right under it. It is this transitional period of moving out of this space of I think I can't. I don't think I'm worthy. I don't think it's possible for me. And realizing that even in having the grandiose thoughts, by even envisioning it, that means it's possible for you. Do not be your own inner saboteur.
Look, if you can see it, it's meant for you. If you feel it, it is meant for you. Some people may not be able to come with you. That's okay. That's okay.
We talked a lot in that first recording about trust.
Yeah, man. Trust, people. Trust the process. It's scary. We're not meant to know every step. If we did, it'd be boring as fuck.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It'd be boring as fuck. We are meant to just take one day at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 minute at a time as what we feel. Trust it.
I love.
Peachkka Bella, thank you for being here. This is amazing.
Thank you for having me. This was so lovely.
It was so beautiful. You'll be back. I'm not gonna. You're gonna come back. We're gonna do a remix and do a whole nother one.
I love it. I'm gonna say I have a feeling that we're gonna be like co-hosts on the show at some point.
God.
I feel like that would be so fun.
And music related too. I feel something within that realm in the future. You know, I feel it.
That would be really fun.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Again, you can find her through the links down below. It will be the real links. It will not be no scammer ones. Please, if you live on the east side and in around November, the holiday season, you're going to be there, please go buy a ticket and support her. She's putting out some beautiful music out there for your elevation that is fire. And if you're really into frequency and music and healing, it's going to hit you in the right space. So
please go to Peachkka.com to look and get your tickets.
Get your genuine tickets. Don't go no scouts either. You know, be real.
Oh my God.
Okay. Okay. I just feel like saying that. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, everyone. I appreciate you guys for listening, and I will catch you at our next episode. Bye.